All right, as we know, March 2023, the UFC is coming back to London, hopefully at a gigantic stadium for Leon Edwards' homecoming, his first ever title defense against who was the pound for pound number one, Kamaru Usman. But today we're here to talk about the potential co-main event which Dana White has been hinting at over the weekend, last weekend for the fights. That is the huge fight, massive fight. I am excited for this one. Khamzat Chimaev, boys, the man that has been unbeatable so far inside the octagon, going up against Colby Covington. This fight is going to be ridiculous on so many levels, and it's going to answer a lot of questions, certainly about Khamzat Chimaev. Now, rumour is it's going to be the co-main event in London, and Dana White is super excited about this one.
It's been so long since we brought a big title fight back to the UK, and we're going to make that card look like this card. And I'm so excited because you know how much I love the fans in England and the UK and the whole, I still got, look at my goosebumps. Anyway, yeah, I'm pumped. Yes, we will be back in England.
Will Khamzat's next fight be at middleweight, given what happened last time out with the weight cut? And if so, have you got a plan of who that might be against?
Khamzat wants to fight at 170.
Okay.
I'm going to give him one more opportunity to fight at 170. You know, he needs to deliver and make the weight, and I would love to do that fight in England too.
So as you can see, Dana White there has got goosebumps thinking about this already, and so have I. The past two cards in London have been sensational, but now with Leon top of the bill, defending the belt on home soil against Kamaru Usman, I mean, come on, fights don't get any bigger than this, and certainly if you're a UK fight fan. But regardless of where you're from in the world, that fight's incredible, but the co-main event, which hopefully gets made, Khamzat Chimaev, Colby Covington, as I say, this one is sensational. Because, listen, as we know, last time out, Khamzat Chimaev went out there and he never made weight. He missed weight by 7 pounds. Dana says he's going to give him another shot. And to be fair, that is the right thing to do. People have missed weight, even badly like Khamzat did in the past, and not been forced to change weight classes. Now, as we know, Khamzat's been through the division. He's shot through a lot of guys. One of the only people to give him any trouble, really, was Gilbert Burns last time out against Kevin Holland. I mean, come on, he ragdolled the guy all over the place. And I love Kevin Holland, so shout out Kevin. Can't wait for the comeback. But he's going to give him another shot at 170 pounds. And against Colby Covington, this fight will be absolutely ridiculous because, I mean, come on, if there's anyone out there that's going to stop the wrestling of Khamzat Chimaev, it could be Colby Covington. As we know, Colby goes out there and the wrestling is a massive part of his game plan. Now, I'll be honest, it's maybe a hot take, but I don't think he uses it quite as effectively as Boris does. Khamzat gets a hold of people and just ragdolls them, but you can't deny the effectiveness that Colby has. He uses his wrestling, he pushes a tremendous pace, he mixes up combinations with the hands to the takedowns to the hands, non-stop pressure from start to finish. And on top of that, these two know how to sell a fight. I mean, come on, they've already started talking shit, going back and forth. In fact, here's what Khamzat had to say. I will be happy if they do that. I don't think the guy wants to fight me. He's going to go to the cops. Call the cops. Dana White will be in jail if they make that fight. He talks too much in the media, but then when he sees face to face, then he goes to the cops. If I'm honest, UFC has to kick him out because he's a bitch. Now, as we know, last time out, I've got to stop saying that, as we know, but last time out, he almost got into a massive fight with Diaz and his crew. They had to cancel the post-fight or the pre-fight press conference, which was unprecedented to say the least. And can you imagine Khamzat against Colby? They're going to be talking shit non-stop. Now, when it comes to the fight, in fact, I'll get to that in a minute because Colby's come out and he's had a few things to say as well. He said, you guys hype these guys up real quick, but let's not forget, Chimaev, he was put down by the common cold. He was ready to retire off the common cold. That's a 99% survival rate to beat the common cold. Khamzat Chimaev was ready to give it all up and retire. He doesn't want to fight me. He is a YE less the 99.9% chance against me. So as we know, both guys coming into this one extremely confident, and rightly so. Listen, there's going to be a massive spotlight on this fight. Simple as that. Colby's one of the best at welterweight. Of course, he's lost his last few, but they were title fights against Kamaru. But as I say, other than that, he has ran through everybody. And Colby is tremendous. He's great on the microphone at the press conferences. Colby hypes it up from start to finish. There is no way you can't be invested in a Colby Covington fight. And Khamzat Chimaev, the effect that he's had on the sport, the attention that he has grabbed, the performances that he's put out there. As I say, other than Gilbert Burns, literally, absolutely just walked through and dominated everybody. Now, with this being the co-main event fight, it's going to be 3 rounds. 3 rounds isn't bad for Khamzat. If this was a pay-per-view main event, a fight night pay-per-view, of course, it would be 5 rounds. 5 rounds, maybe that might be an issue for Khamzat because, you know, with respect, he's extremely powerful. He has great wrestling, he has great striking, he's super aggressive and wastes no time. And he probably doesn't pace himself too well because he hasn't had to. He's been able to just dominate everybody. In the Gilbert Burns fight, we did see him slow down a bit. And maybe that's because he does struggle to make weight. As we know, last time came in heavy. Those weight cuts, those bad weight cuts really affect your cardio as the fight goes on. So as I said, this one's going to be 3 rounds. So it's not going to be an issue. Khamzat can go 3 rounds. We've seen him do that before. But 5 rounds, that's a different kettle of fish. If it was, I would see Colby having a real advantage as it got to the later rounds. Now, striking-wise, I think probably Khamzat hits a little bit harder, you know, because Colby puts together great combinations, very fast, very accurate, and of course he packs a punch, but he doesn't have the one-punch knockout power that Khamzat has. Just ask Gerald Mearchart. 17 seconds, 1 shot, boom, ended the fight. Wrestling-wise, listen, I think Colby's going to be able to hold his own there. In terms of experience, in terms of big fight fields, in terms of crowds, Colby's been there, done it, got the t-shirt. But there's something about Khamzat that this man has no fear of anybody on the roster. And let's be honest, this is the perfect scenario because we see lately the trend, what the UFC are doing, they're having backup fights. Volkanovski was just a backup against Charles Oliveira and Islam Makhachev. He wasn't needed, fortunately, and he's going to fight Islam in Perth, Australia next year. But then in March, we've now got in the co-main event, we've got Khamzat versus Colby. We have Leon versus Kamaru. So it's kind of a welterweight showcase in the main and co-main. And if God forbid, one of the main event guys can't make it to the fight for some reason, whatever it is, they have the choice there of Khamzat or Colby. And they are both worthy additions, both worthy replacements. Now, I don't think that's going to be needed. Leon is an utter professional, as is Kamaru Usman. Those guys, never really any controversy. They know how to make weight. They turn them on weight, in shape every single time and go out there and do their job. So I'm proper excited for that one. I can't wait. Leon Edwards. I love Kamaru Usman. I do. I'm a friend of his, but come on. Leon's one of our own. The career that he's had is simply incredible. But this isn't about that fight. It's about Chaos, Covington, and Khamzat Chimaev. Co-main event, I'm excited. What an incredible opportunity. I mean, if Khamzat can do it, if he can get through Colby Covington, then whoever wins between Leon and Kamaru, that is the next fight. That will be Khamzat Chimaev fighting for the belt. And of course, Covington, I don't know. Listen, he probably wants to fight for the belt again. Of course he does. But he's had a few title fights recently. So if he was to lose, if Khamzat was to lose to Covington, I'm not sure if that would happen just yet. Of course, Leon is not short of challenges right now. The welterweight division is absolutely stacked. He says that he's got Jorge Masvidal begging for a title shot. He's got Khamzat there. He's got Colby. He's got Kamaru Usman, of course. I mean, come on. Welterweight division is absolutely on fire. Nothing but massive stars and huge fights. And talking of huge fights, some big stars. Belal Muhammad was in action last weekend at UFC 280. Went out and had a tremendous performance against Sean Brady, a man on a 15-fight win streak, and stopped him with his hands. I think it was in the 3rd round. And he looked better than ever. But he also had something to say about the fight between Khamzat and Colby Covington. Yeah, so Belal doesn't think that Colby Covington wants to fight. He said, I do not think Colby is going to be fighting Khamzat in the UK. Colby's out there hiding. He's doing his own little thing. He's definitely not fighting Khamzat. The people will talk about Covington like he's the next big thing. But who has he beaten that's won? He's beaten Jorge Masvidal on a 3-fight losing streak. He's beaten Tyron Woodley like on a 5-fight losing streak. Everybody that he's fought and beaten, they're all coming off losing streaks. The only fight he had a good fight on with was Kamaru Usman. And then he ended up getting finished in that fight. Other than that, everybody that he's been fighting, they have been on losses. He hasn't been fighting these top guys. I just beat Vicente Luque, who was on a 7-fight winning streak. I just beat Brady on a 15-fight winning streak. I'm the only one that's fighting guys on winning streaks. And then he goes on to say, I didn't see Chimaev in the crowd, but I'd like to see him in the cage. Brother, what happened? Nate Diaz in August, Bully B in October. I'll fight you at 179.8. I don't care about weight. I want to fight the best guys in the world, and I think I'm the best guy in the world, so step into my office. So there you see Belal Muhammad posturing, trying to get that fight or just a big fight. And to be fair, Belal Muhammad, with what he's doing, the win streak that he's on, of course he deserves a big fight. But if Colby accepts that fight, it's going to be Khamzat versus Colby Covington all day long. Striking power, I've got Khamzat. Tempo, I have Colby. Wrestling, I think in terms of stamina wrestling, in terms of non-stop going, I give that advantage to Colby. But in terms of the strength and the technique and the initial power, the initial burst, I give that to Khamzat. But who do you think wins this fight? I mean, this is a sensational matchup. UFC London in March. Already looking like one of the best cards that we're going to see, because that is two sensational fights. I can't wait. I only hope and pray that I'll be commentating it. Let me know down in the comments who you think wins. Thank you very much for watching. And if you haven't subscribed and rung the bell, then come on. What are you waiting for?